KUAM Sports Weekend Roundup is brought to you by Gatorade. Greatness starts with G.
All right, everybody, before you know it, the Pacific Games is going to happen in Solomon Islands. Easy thing for me to say. I'm neither a administrator nor a coach, but the gentleman I have joining me here on the KUAM set definitely is Desmond Mandell with track and field for Guam, a longtime veteran. You know, if you're going to talk to people, talk to the best and everything like that. So, bro, we appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, thanks. And for international, it's called athletics.
Athletics,
so, yeah,
that's right.
And some people aren't familiar with what athletics even is. So if you see athletics, it means track and field.
Now, isn't it true that they actually called it athletics in the going back to the Olympics, right? In the original Olympics, it was known as athletics, and then it became track and field later on.
I was told there'd be no math here, so I have no idea.
Well, you know, the one thing that you are very, very adept is preparing young athletes for the athletic competition. So how does our team look as we head down to the Solomon Islands?
You kind of hit it. Unlike prior years, this is a young team. So we only have a couple returnees from the last Pacific Games, only a few that have had, competed at the higher level. So it is a young team. Preparation is, it's going as best it can. We had some issues with access to facilities because of typhoon, clearances and whatnot. So yeah, but we have an enthusiastic team, which is important. But again, a young team.
Has it really hit them? Has the gravity set in that they say, hey, you're going to go over there and it's not just like another meet, you're going to be representing Guam, and you don't want to put too much pressure on them, but say this is a huge responsibility, a huge honor.
No, I mean, I don't think a lot of them understand. When you get out there, especially the caliber of Pacific Games, we always like to consider it the Olympics of this region. So when they see some of those other athletes, they might have seen them in the mini games and in some of the other smaller Oceania competitions. But when you see it there with all the other sports and the bigger populations, it's going to be an eye opener for them. So I think for some of them, it's going to be just get their feet wet to international competition. Hope that they get that fire to continue to improve. But there are some that we hope do bring home some hardware.
All right. Okay. So there are 8 total athletics competitors going over and everything. In which events are we competing?
So the events range all the way from the 100 meters, and I think we do have an athlete that's going to run the half marathon. So we're basically there and all the events in between. Nice. And I do think our Regine Tagade-Watson is coming back to compete. So she's probably our best contender for a medal, if not, depending on what some of the other countries bring. But I don't see why she can't compete for gold, and I'm sure that's her goal. And then we have some younger athletes and some returnees that are running hurdles, long jump, triple jump, so on. So, yeah.
When does it really? Because you've been doing this for a long time, and you've been through so many generations, and competition. You're familiar with the international venue. Every athlete's different, right? In your experience, do most people actually say, okay, I'm ready to go even before they get on the plane to go to the Pacific Games, or does it happen in the opening ceremonies, or does it happen right the day of competition?
I mean, I think the veterans, they're probably focused by the time they start tapering. So, they're focused the whole time, and I think they're mentally prepared. I know my brother would do mental reps in his head weeks before just to get ready for it.
The great Derek Mandell.
Yeah. He's all right. But yeah, no, I mean,
both of you guys are great.
Yeah, thanks for the cover up. But yeah, no, I mean, I think it does vary per athlete. I think I think sometimes when you're at the starting line is really when it hits you. Sometimes it's when you're in the call room. But I think for a lot of the athletes on an international one where there's a lot of different sports, I think that opening ceremony is kind of where it feels real because you're walking out there. We actually won't be there for the opening ceremony because we're in the second half of the games. Okay. But I think for a lot of them, that's when they would feel it. So.
Okay, right on. You were talking about we have some medal hopefuls. I mean, everybody says that, but I mean, I know you're a straight shooter, and you are very optimistic that we will be able to medal in several events. Who is really, really good, and who should we keep our eye on? I mean, we're going to be cheering for all Guam athletes, but
sure. So yeah, I mentioned Regine Tagade-Watson. She just came off of breaking her own national record for the 100 meters over the summer. She ran, I think, 11.85.
Wow.
Yeah, which is pretty impressive. So, So, we don't know, because Australia and New Zealand have been invited to these games. Last time was the first time they were allowed, and they are allowed again this time. So we don't know what caliber they're bringing. Of course, if they bring their A caliber, it's going to be tough. But but again, there's no reason why she can't shoot for gold. The half marathon's always kind of a wild card because, sometimes, the competition might not be as strong, so we don't know. But I think, I don't want to put any pressure on any of the athletes, but I know there are a few areas that I think we might have an opportunity in the women's middle distance and maybe some of the, the men's distance runs. So.
Well, they got the right people giving them the right advice, the right leadership, and the right motivation, man. So we appreciate it, and we are behind you guys absolutely all the way.
I appreciate that. Go Guam.
All right, Desmond Mandell, one of the stars, whether he's on the track or behind and everything, like making sure that Guam can bring back the hardware in Solomon Islands.
KUAM Sports Weekend Roundup is brought to you by Gatorade. Greatness starts with G.